Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Katriel. This season, we are embarking on the journey of the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series. And we are now in the week of Aries in our podcast. And today happens to be the first day of Aries and the jumpstart of spring. We have a very, very special guest here today. He is our practitioner for our in-person Aries class, Chris Flanders. How are you today? Thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm pretty good. You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
So it's kind of cool for our audience. This is our second podcast together. Chris was actually the very first guest I ever had on Energy Speaks podcast. And so it's kind of like a full circle moment going on right now. A lot has shifted and changed in his life. And I would love for you to meet Chris Flanders if you haven't met him in the first podcast. Um, and go a little bit deeper on how he got onto the journey he is on and what is a part of the elements of your life. I think that's the appropriate wording.
Uh, I think that there's definitely some spiritual revolution and awakening going on the planet right now. In general, it's the age of Aquarius, and it's the age of consciousness expansion and technology advancement and all this stuff. So you can see the blatant signs that there's definitely evolutions happening within the world and within human consciousness. I think there's a lot of things going on too. We're transcending to higher levels of thinking, and the world is just changing. So I think that we're all along for the ride in that journey. And there's certain souls that are incarnated amongst all that to help facilitate other people's advancement. So I believe I'm one of those people amongst many other people, and I do believe in reincarnation and people who are incarnated from different star systems, things like that. Very open-minded. But I don't know. I mean, since I was about 17, I've been kind of popped open spiritually. Uh, I'm clairsentient, meaning feeler of truth, and that took me a long time to understand and control because I'd be in rooms of people in college and just be overwhelmed with anxiety and also just feeling all these vibes off of people. So it's not like you can go to your doctor or go to your mom or your grandma and say, "Hey, I feel all these vibes off people. I mean, I feel like I can tell stuff about people without even talking to them sometimes." Like, so that can be a rough kind of journey to step power into when you're just not like people. You have that special gift that is unlike other people having. But I think that just there's a lot more than meets the eye with what's going on in the world. There are special people here that have gifts and are healers to help other people unlock their spirituality and help reveal things to other people that they need to see within themselves. So um there's just a lot more possibility for the human race. And it's great we're having these technology advancements and all that, but what I see as a major thing we need to focus more on is for people to work through their darknesses or through their limitations or through their traumas so that we can level up to higher levels of being. Some would call it Christ consciousness, this fourth dimensional state of being where you're really aligned with your highest virtues. I imagine that's what the world is going to be like when we get to the next level. Is everyone on the planet, is going to be close to being fourth dimensional and embodying these virtues that prophets such as Jesus or Muhammad or whatever you want to label it came to this planet to help teach other humans. So I've dug pretty deep in myself to try to get to that state. And my plan as a tactical, logical type person. He's talking about Aries. So I have the Aries moon sign. I'm a Virgo. I have a Gemini rising. So I'm just all about efficiency and things that will work. And I think it starts with physical environments. If the environment affects the individual, as they talk about in psychology. So I have a kava lounge, and I think kava and kratom and kombucha and all that is a magical type of social buffer. And so you have a kava lounge, you have a crystal shop, you have a space that has a higher dimensional energy that's egoless and that is pure. And that's the first step. If someone just steps into a space that has that sort of essence to it, it's gonna rub off on people and help people transcend, etc. So that's my role. I mean, that's what I think I incarnated into this human body, and I believe I selected my Earth parents for a reason, because they had a certain skill set for me to carry out this mission of being a businessman, but a wizard at the same time. I want to be a healer, a helper, but I'm business oriented, and I'm logical, and I'm practical. So that fits into my Virgo, my zodiac influence. And you can say I talk a lot too, and that's part of my destiny too, is communication. The Gemini rising and the Virgo are both Mercury energies, which have to do with communication. But yeah, I mean, I think I've done well myself as an example to others of really aligning with your true purpose. And of course, my journey isn't complete. I still have more things to accomplish, and I have my own issues to overcome. That everyone who incarnates has certain karma to overcome, or personal things to transcend. But yeah, I just talked a lot, but I thought it was helpful. And what, do you have anything to say, Katriel?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to comment on your environment right now. Like how nice it is to see the trees and you being out in nature, and how calming that can be for us all. I feel like, with you having so much Mercury in your chart, you talked about the Virgo and the Gemini, and it's super interesting to see the two intertwine in one being. Um, because it is about the communication with the Gemini, right? And the ideas, the creative ideas that are put out there. But then that Virgo grounds it in, and it's very environmental, like what you're showing us. And so I really appreciate that. Um, and also, um, so Chris and I have known each other for quite some time. Um, when I met you, we were at Soul School. It feels like yesterday, but also so far away too, which is so interesting because so much has evolved since then. I mean, I remember us like talking about potentially putting out a product, and then it kind of went from I need a house to you already have your house. You're in the backyard of your house. I need a kava kratom shop, crystal shop. Hold all five elements. And bam, like it's like that communication to the universe. You were so clear on what you wanted, and now you're embodying. That's freaking beautiful, dude. So I just want to say, like, one, thank you for being you, and two, like, actually following through, because that's what we need here in this world, you know?
Yeah, I'm big on that. And I think it's a small percentage of people that have that grit and that maturity to follow through on actions, whether it's showing up on time for something, or calling someone back when you say you're going to, or whatever. And maybe it's the Virgo, or maybe it's just, part of my virtues of integrity, of, righteousness, which I think more people need to work on. I think it's an important aspect to, you know, do what you say you're gonna do. And we have a lot of cleaning up to do right now with the human race. I love people, but I think it's a very confusing time. And um we've really got to kind of take maybe some steps back and get back to the roots of how people used to live. People used to live in tribes. People used to work together in physical contact with one another, gardening or cooking or communing. Um, I don't know. I'm old fashioned, and I think it's just a little bit scary with how crazy and out of whack all the technology is. I think can be a useful tool, but in my opinion, I don't think it's really helped that much. It's making people more socially inept than ever. So I mean, you can't go wrong with simplicity, and I'm trying to create that too, because I want to physically create stuff that realistically helps people. I have this house, and then there's this building that's next to my house. I think it could be so cool to have a commune. And my goal is to be so busy with a lot of real life stuff that I don't have time to go on my phone and waste time and look at stuff. I'm doing stuff in my real world with my real soul family, my tribe, whether it's getting up in the morning and digging in the dirt and planting plants and growing crops, or drawing, or speaking in front of people and helping people. I think you can't go wrong with living a life that's as realistic as possible. And I think we've gotten kind of out of balance with that. And if we could shift back a little bit towards simpler living, I think it would help with a lot of suffering and mental health and things like that. Uh, in my experience, a lot of the time, what most people are doing is not necessarily the best thing to be doing. Sometimes doing the opposite of what most people doing are doing is actually what makes sense. So I also encourage people to be independent. I think that's a sign of enlightenment when you're able to live life the way you want to live it. You're not doing things just because other people are doing it. I think I heard the other day there was this girl talking about getting a flip phone, an old-fashioned flip phone, and I was like, that's a good sign that people are already starting to think like that of, I just don't want to have all this complex stuff at my fingertips 24/7. I'd rather just have a simple device to call or text someone. And I don't know, probably a lot of people disagree with that, but I miss the days of that, of not having so much stimulation available in my hands. I mean, there'd be more time to read a book or play a video game with your friend, or ride your bike to your friend's house and knock on his front door, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know if that happens as much as it used to happen, but I don't know. I think just stuff kind of out of whack, and I'm doing my best to help with that. I made the little social space where people can go and hang out and talk in person and play games, and uh, I want to incorporate more healing into that space with tarot readers and healers and Reiki, and try to really help the people as much as possible is my goal.
I love that. So many things I want to comment on, but I'm going to start here first. Like you were talking about like the technologies and things like that. It, I think a lot of people, you know, um, I'm speaking from me personally, when I don't always keep my phone like with updates on. Like I turn it on focus mode, because most people can't get in contact with me unless I choose to interact. And I know that sounds like a little harsh sometimes, because that can impact different, people and things like that. But it's like, I feel like we have to work on our boundaries even more now with social media and all these different technologies kind of encroaching in on our spaces and saying, no, okay, there's a time and a place. Um, but like when I want to go, like you said, just put down my freaking phone and be in life and be what's around, where I'm at and what's around me and who I can interact with and all of these different things. We gotta I agree. I really feel like we need to put that back into perspective and balance. And I was I was praying the other morning, Um, and I had this like amazing download come through. It was amazing from my perspective. um, you ever see those Val packs that has the like coupons in them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of a little bit over the whole social media and having to have all of that to advertise, It's kind of a little bit one overwhelming, annoying too. But I try to do my best. But I had this awesome download come through of like, why don't I like create something that we can actually physically touch and have a better relationship with one another because we actually reach out and have the personal conversations rather than over just social media, but it's more person to person, and we also can touch the physical items. So I just came up with this idea to create the soul pack. So it's more for our like community, this the social, I'm sorry, the spiritual communities, the artsy communities, the not like mainstream, like getting people to know more about like all five elements, or you know uh Chris Flanders and his personal um you know things he wants to offer and things like that. And because I really feel like we need to get back to literally humanity, the person to person. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like in the next few years, um, we're gonna have like this kind of moment of figuring out that balance. But I do feel like it's gonna come back into the human, like the human to human contact, rather than the technologies taking over. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I feel intuitively there might be some sort of a shift of a little bit backwards of simplicity. I think it would be wise, because it's just getting too far into a digital expression for people. People are able to just jump into this artificial world to show who they are, which is kind of weird and not authentic. And alongside that, I feel like there's been a lot of decline in morality associated with internet and social media, and that's not a good thing. Um, to be a divine race, we have to embody great virtues and be honorable and be humble and live by a certain code of respect for one another and ourselves. And that's kind of gone out the window in the past 15 years from what I've observed. I was lucky enough to be raised by some pretty good parents that instilled quality values in me, of honor and conscientiousness and honesty and things like that. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good people in the world. There's positive. I'm not trying to be a pessimist or anything, but I see a strong shift in people's level of morality and integrity compared to when I was a bit younger. Um, it's just not good. I mean, people are able to kind of sell themselves on the internet for money, and they don't have to embody their true destiny or their gifts that God has given them to do something important for the world. And it's not good. A lot of people think it's cool, nowadays with some of these weird toxic things people do and everything. And I think there needs to be a big leveling up of, no, like, I want to be my true mature divine self, and I need to step it up and do something that can really help the world. Um, and the internet has kind of opened up a weird portal for people to be toxic in some way with social media, and it's also causing people to be stupider in general. And from what I observe, I mean, people are playing video games for a living and then recording themselves playing video games, and then people are watching someone else play a video game and paying that person. Like, who the fuck wants to do that? Who the heck wants to do that? Why would you want to watch a video of someone else playing a video game? That, I guess you can do whatever you want to do, that's your right, but I mean, really just think about that. Is that really cool or worth your time watching a video of someone else playing a video game? Like that's like we some of the things people do nowadays that's like acceptable and mainstream and stuff, like it's stupid. I'm sorry. And people stupider. So I don't know. It's not good in my opinion. So I feel like there has been more mature times in history where people didn't have these distractions and they had to read books and they had to be artists and they had to, you know, learn to play piano and learn these real things that are have so much value to them that make you feel so accomplished when you put in the hard work to learn something that is beautiful. And with all these weird distractions nowadays, it's people aren't digging deep into who they are and doing the hard work necessary to really accomplish something major. People have lost their work ethic. People are more lazy. Like I said, people are just getting stupider. People don't know common facts about history in our country anymore. And I think it's strongly related to this to just obsession with internet and social media and little videos, you know, and it's not good. I think we have a lot more potential to do more things of value that are important. So I don't know. It'd be great if we did kind of revert back to older days. I mean, we have the option to live in any way we want and do anything we want to do with this existence. And like I was talking about, I try to embody what I'm saying, not just talk about it. And I have a house and I have some roommates, and we've been digging in the yard and we're putting up this little greenhouse thing. And I really want to plant some plants and try to grow some vegetables and do that maybe in a little communal synergy, you know, instead of everybody being in their different rooms on their phones. Let's get up and work together and do some together as a community. Uh, and I think that should happen kind of on a worldwide scale here soon. Is instead of the separation, the more community and people getting to know one another and working as a team. Because I think that's what the human race should be like. We should be one big team. Why are we still killing each other? Why are we still battling other sectors of land, other countries and attacking other people? Like there needs to be more peace and enlightenment on the whole planet and an upgrade of consciousness to where we're working together, to where we can explore the reaches of space and find other beings to work with and do great things. Uh, so I don't know. I think this is just another kind of chapter right now of us advancing, and I hope we can make it to the next chapter and we don't destroy ourselves before that happens. I think if we were to fine tune this technology and get more mature with it, we could be more diligent in self study and connecting with our fellow spiritual allies. Because it seems weird to me. I don't know. I see it a lot. Just the lack of integrity, the people taking the easy way out, immature communication. This is maybe my Virgo coming out. This is the stuff people don't want to talk about. It's very kind of like fatherly and old fashioned, but it's the truth. So yeah, that's my story. I mean, it's not like I'm boring. I like to have fun too. I mean, I like to, but I think fun should be out doing things with people and actually being around people you care about, not just being on the internet all the time. But yeah.
One thing I do know, you have different sides. Of course, you have different. Of course, Gemini, Gemini rising. My brain just went into two different like realms. It's kind of funny. It's like you have this very mature being of yourself, the fatherly figure, which is really cool. Um, that brings out a lot of those Virgo qualities. Not that the other doesn't, but where I'm going is I've also seen when you're in a safe space, that Aries energy, that inner child comes out. And that's why I feel like, when I And I really was tuning in because this is all made up, the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series. It's another way for me to have fun, honestly. Like, why not, right? I can look through the lens of the Zodiac and do some really cool things with other people. And I literally was like, well, what do I want to do for Aries? Oh, Chris, he is so Aries. Even though he's Virgo, he's Aries and likes to have fun, play games, and like when I found out that you fire spin too, I was like, that was the extra layer on the cake. I was like, I'm like, this is great. But yeah, I'm really excited for us to really, play out that Aries energy together because there's Aries energy is like very simple but complex at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's layers to Aries. Like you go from the spectrum of the little baby lamb, the innocence, to the ram and like let's go. Like let's go do it. And you know, uh, I'm excited to play that out with you. Like what we have for our audience, what we have like kind of planned out a little bit is like a competition night. You get food, you get a drink, a part of your ticket, and you can dress up as your favorite like warrior or superhero kind of energy. I mean, what's better than that, right?
Yeah. Just raw fun. Uh, that's an Aries attribute, is totally just living in your instinct and having raw fun and experience. And I have that side to me too, and I think I need to tap into it more. I used to really be into Warcraft when it first came out, and I was addicted to the experience and the epicness of the battles and the games and everything. And yeah, it's important to be able to be totally just immersed in the experience of things and having fun. Uh, yeah, and it's my plan to get a band together and to be able to do that with some friends and have fun, because life should involve more fun. Hard work is definitely important, and it brings results, and it's what's necessary to create the things you want to create. But you also, if you're doing that, there needs to be an equal amount of enjoyment and pleasure for being alive, because who wants to just be hardworking all the time and always be in that mode that no 10-year-old kid is like, I can't wait till I get older and I'm constantly working. I'm always serious all the time. That's not realistic. And it's like a lot of us get conditioned when we grow up to forget that childlike, I'm just having fun, and I like having fun, and I have no problem just having fun and playing games and silly. So I I'm big on that too. And I want to step into it a little bit more myself. Sometimes we go through years of working towards goals and trying, and we get in a focus mode, and we can kind of forget certain things. So we always have the opportunity to revive aspects of ourselves from the past and choose a different direction in how we want to live. And I'm all about balance. So it's my dream for the shop to grow really really good, and maybe open more of them and do my thing to help people. But also I really want to have another aspect of my life where I'm just experiencing raw fun and excitement. And Aries, you have to be full capacity to really feel that to the full extent. You can't be timid about having fun. You gotta do it. So I love music, and I like rock and roll, and I like guitar, and epic stuff, and I'd love to have that side of me too. So this is an example of me having a vision for what I want to do with my life. And other people, I think, need help finding that. Some people have it figured out, but you have to have the right vision of what you want to do with your time in your life and what makes you happy, and then create that and embody that. And that's when you really figured out life. So if through my actions I can inspire other people to do that, that's part of my destiny. So I really want to have a band and play cool solos, and I'll wear maybe, outfits and stuff and be like superhero and just be totally fun and uninhibited, but still it to be encapsulated in wholesomeness. I like that too. It's the Virgo side of me of I want it to be genuine. Um, and I think it's totally possible for people to be able to have their dream life and be happy in it, and just still be surrounded with that respect for your fellow man. Um, and that comes down to, embodying virtuous traits that, enlightened people have been talking to us about for ages. So it's a mixture of being spiritual and being sacred, but also living your life the way you want to, and not allowing other people to impose what they want on you. It's your right to live the life you want to, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. So yeah, I love to talk to people. I'd like to do it more often. I'm working on it. Yeah, trying to manifest that, because I got the shop going, but there's other things I want to manifest and do too, so that I can be as fulfilled and happy as possible, because I deserve that. That's another thing too, is deserving self-worth. A lot of us empaths can kind of be martyrs, and how does that make sense? If you're an empath, if you're a being that is a healer and a compassionate person and is conscientiousness and has all these great attributes, those are the type of people who should be the most happy, not be suffering. And a lot of time that's not the case from what I observe. So I want to heal the healer. I want to strengthen the people that have been through tough times. I want to do the best I can with who I am to make the world a better place while I'm here. And I'm not perfect either. Like I said, everybody has faults and downfalls and everything. That's why we incarnate in these lives, to level up and go through lessons. And we're on this journey together. So yeah, I thanks for letting me come on and talk. And there's a lot more stuff I could talk about. I'm a talker, but I'm doing my best right now on the spot.
You're doing great, man. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about all five elements if no one has ever been there before. Location, what you have going on each night, different things like that. What can they expect out of all five elements?
Okay, sure. All five elements, Kava Lounge and Metaphysical Shop is the Kava Lounge, which kava is a new popular thing. It's an alcohol alternative. It's a root that makes you feel peaceful. We have kombucha, blue lotus, kratom, other botanicals. So it's basically like a wizard bar there. And that's part of my journey, is I want to be a wizard, and I feel like the world should be more magical and mystical. So I wanted to create an environment that has that sort of essence to it. And it feels like that when you go in there, it's it's got that spiritual wizard, earthy type energy imbued into it. And yeah, we have karaoke on Wednesdays. We have meetups. We have an AA meetup. Well, I'm still working on getting that. I'd like to have a veterans meetup and an AA meetup. We have open mic night on Saturdays. We have sound bowl healings Tuesdays at 2:30. It's located in Largo, Florida. It's all five elements Kava Lounge, and it's in Largo, Florida on Starkey Road. But these drinks have been around for ages, the kava and the kratom, and I see them as potions, basically. So you go in and you get a magic potion that makes you feel good, and it's not alcohol. I think that we've just been conditioned to think that alcohol has to be our social drink, and it's a poison. It's bad for you. It causes DUIs, it causes terrible things. And but I mean, it's your right to choose what you want to do, but I think that that's pretty true. So it's just a magical place to go to that has a very light energy to it, and I have a really beautiful staff of people that are honorable, that bring a good positive energy to the table. There's an outback area where we have a fairy garden. One of my friends is very good at herbs and gardening and everything, so she has a fairy garden out there, and I'm wanting to create this sort of mystical, spiritual wizard priestess bar that is very different than a normal social environment, because I don't fit in a lot of places. You know, if I go to a sports bar with 19 sports TVs, I'm like, what? Why am I here? You know, like, why aren't they playing Lord of the Rings on the TV or something cool? It's just who wants to do it? So I've done my best to create something that I think makes sense and is positive and more magical. And the conversations that unfold there are more focused on personal growth and spirituality and opinions of the world, and good conversations are important. And being a social person, I think it was something I really wanted to have as a hub for people that are looking for spirituality or connection to find, because that's what's going on in the world right now. So I love kava and I love all those mystical earthy drinks, and it's a kava lounge that's got that in the air. It's got crystals and locally made art and a stage, and people can go there to sing and express themselves and have fun, and it's family friendly. So it just makes a lot more sense to me, a social environment like that compared to an alcohol establishment. And I think many people have just been conditioned to, we have to go and drink alcohol to have fun. When we hit 21, that's when we start to get wasted and get hangovers and start to make mistakes and do bad things. Like, I always thought that was weird, that it just doesn't seem that mature of a choice when there's so many other options that we can choose to drink to feel good in this planet, that we have to drink this depressant substance that screws up our mind and our motor functions in order to connect with our fellow man, and it just is dumb. It's dumb. So I think we're still in the Middle Ages with the evolution of people, and if this became more of a norm for people to go into these little apothecary holistic places to drink a tea or whatever, and have a pleasant, intellectual conversation with someone, it's way more spiritual than the other option. So maybe I'm here to bring that to help humanity move forward. And that's my story.
Oh, it's beautiful. I one thing I really value is when I walk into all five elements is one, there's just great people in there. Just great people. It's a great environment to just have a conversation, to look at lots of different things. If you're, like, because it's really built for all types of people. If you want to be social, you can be social. If you want a moment to yourself, you can have a moment to yourself and look at all the crystals, or step out back where it's a little bit more like into nature. Sometimes there's like a fire pit. And sometimes there's like, the fire spinning, things like that. And I like how many different I don't know, uh sides of the coin you can really, all five elements, literally. And the other thing is, you really are a potions master. Like, every single time I've come on in there with my mom, and you literally make the best drink. And then what was even cooler is when you weren't there and I brought my mom in, your staff could do the same thing. And like, everyone who works, with you, like, are just a breath of fresh air, you know? And they put their heart and soul into it, as you have put your heart and soul into all five elements. So great job, man. Seriously. Excuse me.
I appreciate it. Uh, yeah, I'm big on surrounding myself with righteous people, and I have very high standards with that, with who I associate in my inner circle. Um, and it is like magic. I mean, the law of attraction does work. The people I have working there, they're all just really solid, good people at their core in their different ways, and that's what we need to spread to other people. And that's a big part of the intention of the shop, is it for it to be a social hub, but also have these people that are there that are bringing this goodness to the table, that if you walk in and you're looking for a new group of friends, or you're looking for a different perspective, that you can sit there and you'll talk to someone that's going to actually talk to you and is going to treat you with respect. um so yeah, it creates a great experience when you have those sort of people around, and that's who I am. So I want to attract people that are like me, my inner circle, so we can help each other level up together. I'm big on leveling up in life, ascending. I think that's why we are incarnated, is to go through our experiences in life and level up and become better aspects of ourselves. So the shop has people that help me. I have people there that help me with aspects of myself that I need to work on, and lift my spirits up when I need that. So it's also for me, the shop also is helpful to me too, because I've created a social place that I feel safe in, that I can go in, that I love the way it looks and everything, and I get to share that with other people. I get to share my art, my expression with other people, because there's a lot of detail put into that space. And it's also a challenge
Definitely.
for me. Without challenges and things like that, you don't grow. So in multiple ways than one, it's important for my personal growth, which I'm so big on, and that's what life's about, in my opinion. So I have a shop. I have to do the challenge of making it succeed. I have to learn new things, of having people that work there. It's a learning experience for me, and growth for me, but it's also fun for me, because I get to show it to people, and I got to put my personal touch on it. So I'm doing something that I want to do with my life, and I don't care if it's different, which I think other people should live that way too. Is you don't have to conform. You can do whatever you want, if you're happy doing this or that, whatever, that's your choice. Do what you want, but the world could use some new good creations to help it change. That's how things change, is when you have people that come that have different perspectives and want to change the way things are. And I think I'm like that. Um, because we're still going through the evolution of the world, and there's new things for us to learn. But yeah,
Absolutely.
cool,
Absolutely.
and it'd be great to open more of them, because I think it's an awesome social environment, and people in other parts of the world would really enjoy what I've created. I mean, whether it's Africa or Romania or Scotland or whatever, I think the whole earth needs to start to come together more too. And I'm very universal. Uh, so it'd be cool to open them in different countries, and it'd be more fun for me, with the Aries moon sign. I don't mind doing hard work, but I also want it to be more happiness and pleasure for myself, because I used to be the more of the martyr empath, where I would be, carrying other people's burdens, and I'd be getting taken advantage of. And I'm like, I'm not going to live that way anymore. I had that epiphany of, I'm going to choose to live differently. I've gone through these experiences, and I've come to the conclusion that this isn't working, and I have to be bold and choose what I want to do with my life, and say no to things that I don't want to do. Um, so I'm on that track as the evolving empath of being a creator, and I'm always open to the possibilities of anything can happen, because especially if it's coming from a place of goodness, why can't it happen? Why can't it manifest? Because it's more fun, it's more excitement, more is good. Some people are like, you don't want to have more or whatever, like, why not? There, one guitar player that I like is like, his name's Yingmi Malmsteen, and he's just like a ridiculous, crazy fast technical guitar player. And I saw a YouTube video of him, and people were telling him, you're playing too many notes, it's just too much, it's just too fast, sometimes more isn't good. And then he said that. He's like, well, no, more is good because it's more, it's fun, So I, I encourage people to be bold and not listen to other people's limiting beliefs. Because if you get bored, maybe something new is good to have. So I don't know. It'd be so cool for this to just expand and grow this this mystical wizard healing magical energy. I'd love to have one in Scotland or in a foreign country and meet new people. I always knew that new people, and it'd be great to create these spaces for more people as a sanctuary for personal growth. Yep.
Well, we definitely are waiting for those spaces in other parts of the world because I know as going to Scotland, it would be a perfect space, perfect country for that, especially in Edinburgh. Like, I can't wait. And so, one thing I know about you, Chris, is when you say it and you want it, you do it. And that's what Aries is all about, taking inspired action and being paired with that Gemini energy of clearly communicating your dream out to the universe. And then that Virgo, that embodiment of like, all right, I'll have to do the repetition a little bit. Bam. Love it. So I just want to say thank you so much, Chris, for coming on here. Like it means a lot for you to be a part of, the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series. And I also want to
Oh,
remind, sorry.
yeah, no problem. I just said no problem.
Gotcha. I think we have a little lag. It's okay. um, I also want to remind our listeners and watchers that our class is next Tuesday, March 26th from 7 to 10 p.m. I mean, you can stay as long as you like throughout the thing, but we're just gonna have a lot of fun. We're just gonna have a lot of fun doing different games, dressing up, in some type of hero or warrior-like character. Have some opportunities for prizes. Have some food, which I'll bring. Nice, good, like, foods we can sustain ourselves with, and a drink on that technically through your ticket you're gonna get a free drink, which is awesome, and just really good people to commune with and connect with and talk about a little bit about the Aries energy and then experience it. So again, that ticket is $30, but it's so well worth all of the fun you're going to have for many, many hours. So, thank you so much, all of you who are listening. If you like this podcast, please, please share it with someone else. It could really bless someone's day, with all of the beautiful lessons we've had in this episode. And that is all for today's episode. And I want to say thank you all.